Built to span across a continent, forged largely by the labor of Chinese immigrants, the railroad was once a romantic and popular mode of travel for the rich and the cultured in the early part of this century. Trains have always held a mysterious and enchanting quality for us, whether they be screeching across the landscape or circling our Christmas trees. Yet the popularity of rail travel has declined. People in a hurry now prefer the speed of planes, the freedom of cars. But for one young man who was too far from home, a train put him on the track toward a miracle.
That's about 6 days.
Jerry Stewart, from a little town in Vermont, was honorably discharged from the Navy in San Diego, California, after a tour in the Gulf War. Now he was faced with a long cross-country journey to get to his young wife, Rosalie, who was about to have their first baby. He'd not seen Rosalie in over 4 months, so he was eager to get home. But it was going to be much harder to make that journey than Jerry expected.
All right, I love you. Bye-bye.
What are we gonna do?
How's it going?
Not too good.
Where are you headed?
Supposed to be in Phoenix on Monday. I got a job waiting for me. Truck broke down.
You got tickets?
No, we don't have any money.
Why don't you let me give you some?
Oh, no, I couldn't take your money.
It's all right, I got some extra.
When Jerry went to buy his bus ticket home, he paused to help a poor family make their own way to a better place.
There you go.
This kindness was typical of the young servicemen who had been taught to protect and give respect to people in need. And of course, the little family reminded him of the threesome that he would himself soon be part of, if he could only get home. But Jerry's kindness and generosity were answered by the greed of another. In the wink of an eye, Jerry's plans were destroyed. There was little left for him to do but hitchhike all the way home. And for Jerry Stewart, home was over 2,000 miles away. As the delivery date drew near, Rosalie had moved into her mother-in-law's home. There, Mrs. Stewart had looked after her every day with love, patience, and experience.
Oh, Jerry, I'm so glad you called.
How you feeling? Doing okay?
No, I'm okay. It's just, the doctor said that the baby's gonna need a blood transfusion as soon as he's born. Oh, no, and you have the right type. It's just, it should come from the closest relative possible.
I can't believe that.
Just tell me you're gonna make it home in time.
Listen, honey. Nothing could keep me from the birth of our baby.
Okay.
Okay? I love you.
Bye.
Jerry now had an urgent need, but not the means, to get home to his little family. And as luck would have it, a recent jailbreak in the next county had forced local police to warn drivers against picking up hitchhikers in this area. The whistle of a freight train seemed to beckon Jerry, inviting him to ride the rails toward his home. But at this particular part of the railroad, there was no easy access from the ground to the train. This veritable magic carpet was so temptingly close that Jerry felt there must be a way for him to get aboard. Then, seemingly from nowhere,
Gotta be careful around these trains, son. Could get yourself killed jumping on and off. Name's Penn. Pleased to meet you, Jerry.
How'd you know my name?
Be in Utah by morning. That where you're heading?
Mister, I'm going to Vermont.
Jerry, you're going the wrong way.
I've got to get home somehow. My wife's expecting a baby, but there are complications. The baby needs some of my blood. I got no money. It got stolen.
Well, tell you what, I'll stick with you, show you how to get where you're going. That okay?
That's 2,000 miles.
We've got to get you there, Jerry. Now, make yourself comfortable. It's a long way to Vermont.
Jerry did not yet know why, but he immediately trusted that the old rail rider could lead him home in time.
You'll have to change trains soon. Don't worry, I'll show you how.
Jerry was amazed at the beauty of the countryside. Traveling in plains and on highways, he'd never before seen these parts of the land he had fought to defend.
I brought you some soup. How are you feeling?
Oh, Mom, I don't know.
Honey, you're gonna have this baby. We've got to get you to the hospital.
Oh, no, what about...
Soon the day came for the baby to be delivered. One thought echoed endlessly through Rosalie's mind. When will Jerry be home? That night, still 1,000 miles away, Jerry listened in rapt silence as another rider of the rails told of an amazing encounter he had experienced.
Falling on the track and broke my leg. And wouldn't you know it, along comes a fast train, whistle blowing, and then I feel this strong hand on my shoulder just yanks me right off the track. And I get up and look around, and there's nobody. It's a guardian angel of rail riders like you and I. He's always there when we need him the most.
This train would take Jerry straight into the town where his wife was to have the baby. But the question remained, would he get there in time?
Where's Jerry?
Meanwhile, Rosalie's labor pains continued for hour after hour, but still her time to deliver had not yet come. Many have learned that the bonds of family can often make special demands on the forces that bring miracles into our lives. Now, as Rosalie and Jerry's baby was about to enter the world, that baby's grandmother pleaded for such a miracle to occur. Nearing home, Jerry realized that his traveling companion had not only guided him through the railroads, but it also guided him to a new understanding of his country and its people, causing him to see it all with new eyes. At this instant, Jerry and Penn were spotted by the train's conductor, who had little patience for illegal passengers on his freight train.
Say, why don't you come home with me? I'd love for you to meet my wife and...
You gotta get home to your wife. Now get going, Jerry.
Why don't you keep that blanket then? You've been a big help to me.
Thanks, Jerry. Now get going.
The blanket was all Jerry had to give his friend, but Penn seemed pleased with the gift. Unable to do any more for Penn, Jerry hurried on to the hospital, knowing his wife would be there by now. At that moment, Rosalie's time to deliver had finally come. Throughout her pain, she had never abandoned hope that Jerry would still somehow arrive in time.
Oh, Jerry!
And she was right.
Oh, you made it. You made it. We're gonna see the birth of our baby.
I wouldn't miss it.
You stay with me, okay?
I gotta get cleaned up, but I'll be there.
Okay, okay. Jerry.
Mom!
Oh, it's so good to see you.
It was a long trip.
This blanket.
For some reason, Jerry happened to glance at this tote bag, and he saw his navy blanket right where he had always carried it. Despite his having given it to Penn, now the blanket was in Jerry's bag again, cleaned and pressed. Just as Jerry was about to become a father, he had received a reminder that truly anything is possible.
Let's don't miss it. Come on.
So good to have you home.
The next day, Jerry and Rosalie admired their new baby boy, his transfusion completed and his blood problem treated. His parents could at last relax and enjoy each other's company.
Look how his ears stick out like that. Just like yours did.
Well, he's got my eyes, but my ears don't stick out like that.
They used to. I found this picture when I was looking through your old baby clothes.
Who is this holding me?
That's your grandfather on your father's side. You never knew him. He died shortly after you were born.
I may know him better than you think. That's the guy from the train. Penn. His name was Penn.
Here, let me see that.
Come here, sweetie.
Take him. Oh. Okay.
The miracle of a young father and of the grandfather he never knew, who came to him when he was lonely and in need. The grandfather who helped him get home to his family. Yet more proof that the bonds of family cannot be broken by distance or even by death.
He was real. He saved my life. That was his reason for being on that train with me, to show me how to stay alive instead of being out there freezing to death.